I think in Ukrainian culture, strength is probably in our resilience, I would say, because Ukrainians have always learned to adapt to whatever circumstances. Like if you think about it, it's madness how people live in Ukraine now. They adapted to like power cuts during winter, like not only having like electricity 2-3 hours a day. That's just crazy. Or living with the constant sirens, having to always be at risk of dying far more often than you are anywhere like in the UK. That's just insane. And I think that is Ukrainian strength in a sense, but also obviously through various generations, obviously Ukrainian culture, there was so many attempts at destroying it and making it underground and stuff like that. So I think that is the Ukrainian strength, hiding during occupation, hiding the Ukrainian flag deep in the ground so that you can get it out when your area is liberated and celebrate. It's all of that.
I would say certainly on the first part of this, the thing that I've noticed, and it's incredible to see, is the adaptability and resourcefulness and resilience of the Ukrainian people. Um, to see it firsthand, for us when we visit places like the Unbroken Rehab Centre or whatever, and just to see the spirit that is there, and it's just the most painful but wonderfully uplifting thing that you can ever possibly see. Really, is just these people who just have this drive and focus that I could only dream of having been through what they have. And I think again a lot of it comes from this concept of oppressor versus oppressed. We I don't particularly think that we as Brits are necessarily that resilient. I'm sure we might be if we have to be, but I think the concept of having to face that kind of a struggle, it doesn't exist. It doesn't even exist in the mindset. So there's this wonderful sort of story where I talked to a friend of mine and I said to him, what would you do if the French invade? And he turns around and he goes, well, next morning I'd put on my new beret, I'd pop down to my local boulangerie and be like, un croissant s'il vous plaît. And because this concept, again, for us Brits, of being invaded, as you were sort of chuckling away there, it's laughable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not something that we can ever do. And so in terms of certainly, this resilience sort of thing, we don't necessarily have to have it in the same way that Ukrainians have to have it. We don't have to constantly be looking over our shoulders and seeing what's happening and what our land neighbours are doing.